Some heroes dream of glory. Some spend their entire lives preparing to save the world. Matt Cauthon did everything he could to avoid it. He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the chosen. He wasn't even trying to be a hero. He just wanted good food, a warm bed, a game of dice, and enough money to enjoy both. Yet somehow, he became one of the greatest generals the world had ever seen. A man who could defeat armies he had never studied, a gambler who somehow always rolled the winning throw, a prankster who spent most of the story complaining while risking his life to save everyone around him. Matt Cauthon is one of the most unique characters ever written in fantasy, because unlike most heroes, he never stopped being human. At first glance, Matt seems like the luckiest man alive, but his story begins with terrible luck. Growing up in the Two Rivers, Matt was known for getting into trouble. Whether it was stealing pies, playing pranks, or wandering where he shouldn't, trouble always seemed to find him. You see, curiosity has always been part of Matt's personality. Long before destiny found him, he was the boy exploring places he shouldn't, opening doors that should remain closed, asking questions others were too cautious to ask. Sometimes that curiosity got him into trouble. In fact, one of the most defining tragedies of his life begins with a single curious decision in Shadar Logoth. When their group came to the ruined city, one careless decision, one mysterious dagger, changed his life forever. The dagger didn't simply poison his body, it poisoned his mind. The cheerful prankster slowly disappeared. Suspicion replaced trust, paranoia replaced laughter. His friends watched helplessly as the person they knew slowly vanished. Even after he was healed, the scars never truly disappeared. Throughout his journey, Matt would repeatedly find himself trapped by circumstances he never chose, captured, hunted, manipulated, forced into battles he wanted no part of. While Rand struggled beneath destiny, Matt struggled beneath misfortune. And yet, he never let it completely destroy the person he was. But this curiosity also becomes one of his greatest strengths. Matt isn't satisfied with accepting the world as it is. He wants to understand it. He observes people, learns from them, adapts faster than almost anyone around him. Even in unfamiliar cultures and dangerous situations, Matt pays attention. He notices details others ignore. His curiosity doesn't make him wise, it makes him adaptable. And in a world constantly changing around him, adaptability is survival. Matt is a character we adore as a reader because of how he reacts to the world around him. He seems like the only normal person, and he seems to believe that everyone else is crazy. He always cracks jokes, no matter how serious his situation gets. And as a reader, we love how he never takes anything too seriously, at least at the start of the series. If Rand carried the weight of the world, Matt carried its laughter. He joked, complained, lied, ran from responsibility. At least, that's what he wanted everyone to believe. Matt constantly insists that he isn't brave. He tells himself he's only helping because he has no choice, that he'll live tomorrow, that someone else can save the world. But every single time when someone is in danger, he turns back again and again. That's what makes Matt so compelling. If there is one thing that defines Matt Cauthon, it's that no one, not his enemies, not his friends, and often not even Matt himself knows what he's going to do next. Matt's jokes make him look silly, and that's one of the reasons most people seems to underestimate him. This actually becomes one of his greatest strengths, as his enemies are never prepared for his attack. Most great military leaders follow established doctrines. They rely on discipline, formation, and careful planning. Matt doesn't. He cheats, he improvises, he gambles, he takes risks that no sane commander would even consider. And somehow they work. His unpredictability becomes one of his greatest weapons. His enemies expect caution, Matt attacks. They expect an attack, he retreats. They think they have cornered him, only to discover that Matt has already planned 3 moves ahead. Even outside the battlefield, Mat refuses to fit into anyone's expectations. He laughs when everyone else is serious. He complains while performing acts of incredible bravery. That unpredictability keeps both his enemies and the audience constantly guessing. You never truly know what Matt will do next, and that's exactly what makes him so entertaining. He insists that he isn't a hero, even as he repeatedly risks his life for strangers. His courage isn't born from prophecy, it isn't born from duty, it isn't born from destiny, it's born from compassion. He simply cannot abandon people who need him. Even if he complains every step of the way, his humor isn't there because life is easy. It's there because laughter is how he survives. The jokes become his shield against fear, and that's what makes them so powerful. Luck. To most people, luck means winning a game of dice. To Matt, luck becomes something far stranger. After his healing, the pattern itself seems to bend around him. Dice falls exactly as he needs. Impossible escapes become routine. Battles somehow end in his favor. At first, it almost feels like a joke, until you realize his luck isn't simply winning, it's survival. Every impossible escape pushes him toward another impossible responsibility. His luck never frees him, it binds him even tighter to the pattern. The greatest irony is that the man who spends the entire series trying to escape destiny keeps winning because destiny refuses to let him lose. Luck becomes both his greatest gift and his greatest prison. When people talk about his battles and his journey, they mostly credit all his victories to his luck. But there is more to Matt than just luck. You see, Matt doesn't solve problems by following the rules. He solves them by ignoring them. When faced with impossible situations, he doesn't ask what should I do. He asks what would they never expect me to do. And that's the difference. Whether it's gambling his way out of danger, using unconventional battle tactics, or finding opportunities where everyone else sees defeat, Matt constantly proves that creativity can be more powerful than strength. His greatest victories rarely come from overwhelming force, they come from unexpected ideas. This makes him feel incredibly human because real intelligence isn't always knowing the right answer. Sometimes it's inventing one that nobody else considered. Matt spends most of the series claiming he wants nothing to do with destiny. But once he decides someone is worth protecting, nothing can stop him. He endures pain, exhaustion, impossible odds, entire armies, not because he believes he is destined to win, but because walking away simply isn't an option anymore. Unlike Rand, Ho's determination often comes from accepting responsibility. Matt's determination comes from loyalty. He fights because people he cares about are depending on him. And once Matt gives someone his word, he follows through no matter the cost. His determination is quiet. It isn't dramatic speeches or grand declarations. It's getting back up again and again until the job is finished. And therefore, perhaps, the greatest surprise in Matt's journey isn't his luck, it's his mind. Without formal training, without years in military academies, without ever seeking command, Matt becomes one of the greatest generals in history. The memories gifted to him transformed him into something extraordinary. Thousands of battles, hundreds of lifetimes, strategies from forgotten kings, knowledge from soldiers long dead. Yet, the brilliance isn't only in those memories, it's in how Matt uses them. He adapts, improvises, turns impossible situations into victories. He understands something many commanders never do. War isn't won by pride, it's won by keeping people alive. And by the time the last battle arrives, the village prankster from the Two River has become the commander of the army of the light. Not because he wanted power, but because nobody else could carry the burden. And somehow, the man who spent his entire life trying to avoid responsibility became the person everyone trusted to lead them. Matt Cauthon never wanted glory. He never wanted command. He never wanted destiny. He certainly never wanted to become one of the most important person in the history of the world. He wanted to gamble, to travel, to avoid I said I, to stay as far away from responsibility as possible. And yet, the pattern had other plans. Throughout his journey, Matt constantly tells us who he thinks he is: a gambler, a prankster, a man who's just trying to survive. But his actions tell a completely different story. Every time someone needed saving, Matt turned back. Every time impossible odds stood in his way, he found another path. Every time fear told him to run, he chose to stand. And that's what makes Matt Cauthon such an unforgettable character. He reminds us that heroes aren't always noble, they aren't always serious, they don't always seek greatness. Sometimes they complain, they make mistakes, they get scared, they wish someone else would take responsibility. And then, when the moment truly matters, they chose to do the right thing anyway. Matt's greatest strength was never his luck. It wasn't the memories of ancient generals. It wasn't the Fox medallion. It wasn't even the pattern bending chance in his favor. His greatest strength was that despite everything he said about himself, he never abandoned the people who needed him. In the end, the boy who spent his life trying to escape destiny became the commander who led the armies of the light. Not because he wanted to, but because no one else could. And perhaps that's why Matt Cauthon remains one of fantasy's greatest heroes. Not because he believed he was extraordinary, but because he never stopped being human. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this journey into the story of Mat Cauthon, please subscribe to Lores and Legend for more deep dives into the characters, world, and stories that make fantasy unforgettable. Until next time,